Hello guys, today I bring you a mind-blowing, romantic, and intense love story in which a notorious bad boy falls for an innocent girl. He becomes so jealous and possessive that there are no limits to his madness for her, and he is ready to go to any extent to have her. It was a bright morning on the college campus. Students were walking in groups, laughing and chatting, some hurrying to their classes, others slowly heading to the library or the cafeteria. The air smelled faintly of fresh grass, mingling with the aroma of morning coffee. Amid the usual bustle, Min-jun, the notorious bad boy of the college, was already making his presence felt. He leaned against the main gate, a leather jacket slung over his shoulders, hands casually in his pockets, sunglasses perched on his face despite the morning sun. His reputation alone made people keep their distance. Hannah, an innocent and shy girl, walked toward the library, her bag neatly slung over one shoulder, books clutched tightly to her chest. She moved with calm composure, as if the chaos of the world couldn't touch her. But as she approached Min-jun, a subtle unease passed over her. She had heard about him, the teasing, the reckless antics, the way he annoyed everyone around him. She wanted no part of it. Min-jun noticed her immediately. There was something captivating about the way she carried herself, a quiet determination that intrigued him. He smirked and stepped slightly into her path, adjusting his sunglasses with an air of casual arrogance. "Morning, Hannah," he said, his voice teasing, playful, and confident. Hannah's heart skipped a beat, and she managed a cautious "morning" without slowing her pace. Min-jun wasn't used to girls responding so quietly. Most would either giggle nervously or glare at him. But Hannah, she was different. She didn't give him much reaction, and that fascinated him. "Why so serious?" he asked, walking alongside her. "You move like you're carrying the weight of the world. Smile a little. Life's not meant to be so serious." Hannah clutched her books tighter. "I'm not serious," she replied softly, eyes fixed on the ground. "I'm just focused. You should focus on your studies too." Min-jun chuckled, that smooth, teasing laugh that seemed to make the air around him tense. "Focus? That's boring. Life's meant for fun, a little chaos. And you're too organized. Strange, don't you think?" Hannah felt irritation flare inside her. This boy, Min-jun, seemed to live just to annoy people. Yet a small part of her wondered why she even noticed him. She shook her head, trying to dismiss the thought, and entered the library without another word. Outside the library, Min-jun lingered, watching her walk between the shelves. A plan was forming in his mind. He would tease her, provoke her, and see what she was made of. Hannah might pretend to ignore him now, but he could tell she was aware of him, and that fascinated him. Class went on, and Min-jun intentionally sat near Hannah. Every now and then, he leaned slightly toward her, whispered a comment, or nudged her notebook. Hannah flushed, her patience tested, but she refused to give him the satisfaction of a reaction. She didn't like him. At least, she wasn't ready to admit anything else, but she couldn't ignore his presence either. During lunch, Hannah chose a quiet corner in the cafeteria. She wanted to eat in peace, far from the noise and chaos. Of course, Min-jun noticed her immediately. He slid his tray onto the table opposite her. "This corner seems lonely. Mind if I join?" "I'm fine alone," Hannah said firmly, eyes fixed on her plate. Min-jun shrugged casually. "Lonely or independent?" "I like independent." He poked her food lightly with his fork, just enough to make her glare. Hannah sighed inwardly. Why was he everywhere she went? He seemed to exist only to annoy her. Yet, as days passed, Min-jun's presence became impossible to ignore. He was everywhere: the library, the hallways, the lawn, even the small cafe corner she preferred. His teasing ranged from harmless jokes to small, mischievous pranks. Once, he left a sticky note in her notebook that read, "Life's better with a smile." Another day, he swapped her water bottle with a colorful one, just to see her reaction. Hannah's cheeks flushed every time. She was irritated, yes, but there was also a flicker of curiosity she didn't want to acknowledge. For Min-jun, this was a game, a challenge he was determined to win. Hannah was different from the girls who usually reacted to his charm or shied away. She remained calm, unyielding, and just slightly annoyed. That combination drew him in even more. One afternoon, as the golden sunlight filtered into the library, Hannah was packing her books. Min-jun leaned lazily against a bookshelf nearby. "Heading home so soon?" he asked casually. eyes fixed on her. "I have work to do," she replied quietly, avoiding his gaze. "Work, work, work. Don't you ever live a little?" he teased, though a softer, almost sincere tone crept into his voice. Hannah looked up at him, startled, and quickly returned to her books. For the first time, Minjun noticed her subtle reactions. She wasn't indifferent anymore. She was cautious. That tiny flicker of awareness thrilled him. This quiet, innocent girl, seemingly untouchable to his usual charm, was slowly letting him in. Weeks passed, and every corner of the campus bore witness to small interactions between them. The library, the lawn, the cafeteria. Minjun teased, Hannah resisted, and the tension grew like an unspoken rhythm. She still didn't like him, not in the way he wanted, but she was starting to notice things. The smirk he gave when she glared, how he seemed to pay attention to her small habits, and the subtle warmth that sometimes peeked through his teasing. Fate played its hand during a class project. Hannah and Minjun were assigned to work together. She felt nervous, even frustrated, at the thought of being alone with him. Minjun, however, couldn't hide his excitement. Finally, some quality time together, he whispered, grinning. Hannah rolled her eyes, but inside, her heart skipped slightly. She couldn't explain why. Hours were spent discussing the project. Minjun teased and challenged her ideas, but he also listened carefully, surprising her with his attention to detail. Beneath the bad boy facade, she glimpsed someone serious, capable, and oddly considerate. One afternoon, walking back from the library, Minjun deliberately bumped into her. "Oops, my fault. Or maybe was it?" he said, grinning widely, enjoying her flustered reaction. Hannah shoved him lightly, cheeks red. "Stop it," she exclaimed, half annoyed, half embarrassed. "That's the fun part," he replied, chuckling. "You're always so serious. I don't think I'll ever get used to it." And so the slow burn continued. Hannah still didn't like Minjun romantically, but she was beginning to notice him in ways she hadn't expected. Minjun, however, had already decided. He wouldn't stop teasing, pursuing, and slowly breaking down her walls until she couldn't ignore him anymore. By the end of the first month, a subtle rhythm had formed between them. His teasing, her resistance, the small victories, the quiet annoyances. Though Hannah would never admit it, Minjun's constant presence was stirring something unexpected: curiosity, tension, and a flutter of emotions she couldn't yet name. The first part ends with Hannah sitting in the library, cheeks slightly flushed, while Minjun leans casually on the chair beside her. "Why so serious?" he asked, playful yet with a hint of something deeper. Hannah glanced up, met his gaze for a brief moment, and returned to her book, thinking silently. This boy is impossible.